Yo, what's up? I had seen a new way that you can identify when players are playing a certain area or a certain room. The barricades, they do have, it's one-sided. So when you barricade something, the yellow tape is shown where the barricade is placed. It's not like when you barricade something, it bleeds out, or it barricades something kind of like a reinforce where you see the product of the reinforcement, like the spikes, And and I'm not saying that, well, you can tell if that with the same thing with reinforcements, like you breach, you can reinforce a certain way, blah blah blah. But no. With barricades, depending on how you barricade a room, they can know if you're playing that room or not. So like I was saying previously, when you have the yellow tape facing you, that is where an enemy is, at. That's where the barricade was placed. And now, when you barricade something outside, it can even be like a window or like a double window, a small window. When you barricade those windows, you can see the yellow tape on both ends of the door. So it's kind of like you reinforcing something that you know what it's for. And that kind of might not make sense because it's like, what do you mean you reinforce for a reason, right? So to honestly make it make more sense, when you barricade something, you're really and truly barricading, like, it's kind of like a portal, you know? Think of it like a portal. When you barricade something, certain enemies are not going to care what you barricade because the portal leads nowhere, you know? It's like, I'm gonna barricade this doorway because they're gonna push through here. That's the portal you're really opening when you barricade something like that. And now when it comes to playing offsite and just want to like have sound cue, that's where the portal seems to, it can work in both ways. And when I mean portal, I mean the doorways. So when you barricade something, be mindful, not don't be OD about it, but like be mindful how you barricade stuff. Because when you ask yourself, how do these guys know I'm actually upstairs playing it? Well, it's not because you have it barricaded, it's because how you have it barricaded, And there's many ways to check a room, You can drone out a room or you can face check. And depending on how you barricade certain things, they're gonna face check it. They're gonna drone check it. So it's not like having a cool strat and then playing sight and then all of a sudden you want to play that strat now. That's not how it works. You place the barricades like you're already inside of sight. So when you see people put barricades down as they leave sight, it's not to show the enemy that, oh, yes, someone's playing up here definitely. No, it's an indication that, okay, they're in sight, like this is closed off. There could be nobody roaming around. And that's why you see a lot of players and a lot of pros, they make exits. They make not kind of like a offside play, but they make exits so when they do need to roam around and they know sight is closed off, you might as well just waste time like a good little roamer. You know what I'm saying? And most of the barricades aren't even to like guard people. Like most barricades that are like done, they're not even made to like keep people out. It's to keep people in. And that is kind of hard to wrap around your head because, like, what do you mean barricades are barricaded inside of sight? That's why they're facing, like, that's why they look different when it comes to, the yellow tape and not. And it makes sense because as a defender, you're going to be barricaded inside. But now when you barricade outside, it doesn't also make the enemy have to drone every little thing, it makes them have to clear it. Droning isn't the issue, it's clearing it. Because now, what if someone's playing this? This can mean anything. This can lead to so many doorways, aka portals, like this can lead in so many doorways that, if I get this kill, a refrag happens, or, someone can, pick up off of him, like something can happen, like something can retaliate off a barricade. That's my main point. Something can retaliate just off a barricade. And it's not like, oh yeah, Thermite gets a hard breach. Thermite goes hard breach and he gets the wall and then that makes you move. No. It's just small things like a barricade. and that's the very first things enemies seem to like attack is barricades. And if I think Siege does have that type of thing on their website, but if you can count how many times barricades has been shot at, meleeed, destroyed, it's probably more than reinforcements. More than reinforcements. Probably more. And I say that because that's the number one thing that that's the number one thing that enemies seem to like not understand is barricading. It's a certain way how people barricade things. And me, I would say this, me as a calf player, I barricade things a certain way just to lure people in. You may think, well, this is barricaded a certain way. Well, someone has to be up here, which you're right, but it's a type of a portal that I can only leave, not enter, you know? Because when you have flanks, when you have nomads, when you have demos, when you have jackals, you don't want to use the rotate that you have when you need to exit. Don't use that as like a way to like go back. No, like you can't backtrack. So like once you get scanned or like tracked, that first that first rotate you have, you use that to exit. And then the last one you have, you use that to enter. So technically it sounds like you're going behind them, but no, you're going in between them. So it's like oftentimes when you use barricades, you only barricaded things that people will push, or you barricade things that that are common, or even to like a bot level, you barricade any doorway you see that makes it reasonable as a defender. And I just want to like put light on like barricades. Like even though it's a small video, but barricades and how you do place them do mean a lot, and they can honestly trick enemies into entering something that they don't belong in. And I'm gonna lie, sometimes when it comes to like face checking everything, you don't feel like droning, so you might as well just break the barricade and just face check it. But then again, you never know like what's on there, how many people you till, if it's a trap, like something along those lines that you could tell yourself, I don't have to drone this, I can just face check it. But I'm just talking about barricades and how they can mean a lot. And I'm not saying that they can change the game, but like they can change a round, like 1 or 2 rounds, like just based on how you place them and based how like you face them. I mean, you can't face them no other way but inside or out. So when it comes to barricades, just be mindful how you use them, because oftentimes when you keep people out, they just rush in and just push side as fast as possible. But like always, have fun. GG's.